start this episode. This is our new weekly breakdown/review of the Halo TV series. So we will be spoiling heavily. So if you have not started Halo, I would recommend turning this off immediately. We're doing episode 1 right now, but this will be at the beginning of every episode. So obviously, as episodes go on, just pay attention to which episode it is. And if you haven't watched that, then I would recommend turning this off, because we'll be breaking down each episode and reviewing it, and also speaking about the Halo games. So if you are wanting to play the Halo stories or the Halo campaign and care about the stories, I'd recommend not watching or listening to these either. So without further ado, we'll get into the episode here. Welcome to the Current Backloggers for another season of Halo. I am your host, KCP, along with my good friend and co-host, Cal. How's it going, sir?
Not bad. I'm excited to be back.
Yeah, I was going to say, we can get into Halo in a minute, but it's been a while since you've been on any of the shows in general. So how you been?
Not bad. Doing well.
Have you been on here since you started your podcast?
Yeah.
Okay.
One of the video game episodes.
I was thinking maybe for that. I didn't figure like for Halo. I didn't know if you wanted to throw it out there at all.
Oh, yeah. You guys can check out my solo podcast, The Franchise Den. It's on Spotify, all the, I think every, listening platform.
Mm-hmm.
It's just about, movies, stuff like that. So, if you like pop culture, check it out.
Not YouTube, though, right? Just
YouTube.
Like regular podcast.
Yeah. I want to get on YouTube. I've been saying I'm going to do it, and then just haven't, because it's on Spotify, so I'm like, yeah, whatever.
No, if you don't care about YouTube and you're not doing a video anyways, it's so much easier just do a podcast. Like, that's half of what takes so long on my end, is having to worry about the video and editing and syncing, all that stuff. The audio is so quick to be able to do that, but
yeah, I don't do video also. So
yeah,
just audio.
Yeah, no, I got you. And as you mentioned, the video game show, that's I can't judge you for you saying you're going to do it over and over, because that's been me with those episodes. I'm like, we have a handful still lined up. I was like, I'll get those up any day, and then time just goes by, shit happens. So
yeah, we got 7 secret episodes.
That's right.
Just ready.
There's a few, if you haven't checked them out, do that. And the co-host right now, the Current Backloggers, didn't realize we did this show. So there's an entire first season if you want to check that out to go along with season 1 of Halo.
I would highly recommend listening to season 1 and watching it before listening to this, because you're going to get spoilers.
No, for sure. Well, should we get into this episode then?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, this episode is Sanctuary, the first episode of season 2. It's been almost exactly 2 years since season 1 aired, March 24th, 2022. This episode aired February 8th, 2024. It's almost 2 entire years, which is insane and depressing to think about.
Yeah, and I feel like those 2 years passed really fast, though, is the thing. And I don't remember everything that happened in season 1. But they just jumped in. Master Chief was just on a table, just dying. I don't know what was happening there, but it looked like he was dying.
Yeah, this is a 57-minute episode, by the way. Yeah, it's a general. I feel like I remember season 1 relatively well, and they also did a recap, as most of these shows do. I think it did a good job, especially if you somewhat remember the first season. And I still feel like I was like, wait, what's happening?
Yeah.
Which I feel like is a general issue throughout the 2 episodes that have aired so far.
Yeah, and yeah, he's just on a table. I was like, what is happening right now? He was just, and then this scene apparently means nothing the rest of the episode, because I don't even think they come back to it. He's just there on the table.
Yeah, I would like to think that this is like a Lost type thing where they're telling the story in different orders, and it's going to go back to that. And if it was, not to take a shot at Halo, I love Halo, but if it was like a top tier show, I feel like that'd be a given. But with how this show just skips beats and doesn't make sense sometimes, I'm wondering if we'll ever connect to that again, or if that's just something that happened. Like, wait, what was that?
Yeah, and they do that in season 1 a lot. Like I
Hmm.
remember feeling the same way. Like, wait, what was that? And then, like, there's like 15 minutes of really good stuff, and then just boom, like, what is happening right
Yeah.
now?
Hmm.
It continues in season 2. Uh, but once we get past the dying table part, or whatever you want to call it, we get to Sanctuary, which is a planet. I think it's, I don't know how to pronounce this, Bronta system.
It's better than I would do. It's also, I would hope it's an Easter egg. Well, I mean, it's not really Easter egg, just a cool little thing. That's also a very popular level in multiplayer level in Halo 2 is Sanctuary. So I'd hope that's why they named it this.
Yeah, so they're on this planet doing like a evac mission for civilians. And the civilians don't seem happy about wanting to leave. Like there's that old lady, and yeah, she was pissed about leaving, um, which I skipped a few things, but she was there in like that beginning scene because the civilians are like, "Nah, we ain't leaving."
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like the show skipped a few beats as well as we talked about. I was like, wait, why are they leaving and why are they upset about leaving?
Yeah,
I don't really get this. Um, Also, the dude that jumps out of the warthog, Halo has so many of these moments in the show that there's such cool moments, but then moments where, one, I'm wondering what they're doing, and two, thinking about the possibilities of what could have been, like the weird decisions they made not having Sergeant Johnson in the show at all.
yep,
And that dude that jumped out of Warthog, I was like, that is literally Sergeant Johnson, just a white dude, and that's like the only difference, just seeing from behind when he couldn't tell. And I was like, oh, it's just like a generic Marine dude. This sucks.
did we even get his name? Probably not. He's probably irrelevant, but
He kept calling her mother, and she kept calling him son. I was like, I don't know if you guys are actually related, if this is a weird thing, or you guys are throwing slurs at each other, or what's happening right now.
yeah. So yeah, there's this part. So their civilians are they're trying to get them to evacuate, which I don't, do they say about the glassing of the planet until I think later is when they talk about that. Well, the Covenant are about to glass this
Mhm.
planet. Um and then Master Chief and Riz are kind of running towards the city. And all of Silver Team.
Yeah.
Yeah, Silver Team, they're all there. And this conversation between Vanek and Kai, I don't know if you put this down, where she asked him if he removed his pellet, and he starts talking about how he watches animal programs now. um, I didn't know how to feel about that. I thought it was funny, but
I thought it was funny, and I could see a lot of people thinking it's corny and the show has terrible writing, which at moments it does. But that, and I feel like maybe this still is an issue with the show. They don't really flesh stuff out well enough or explain things well enough. But I think I talked about it a few times in the first season. I feel like that's because their palettes are removed and they're trying to figure out how to be human. So they're almost like kid at certain moments. I feel like that's what they were implying, that
oh yeah,
he was kind of like that's a almost an innocent thing. They're like, I was watching animal programs because that is like a wonderful thing. But obviously, we're all just so used to, oh yeah, I was watching some ridiculous animal documentary.
yeah,
But to somebody that's never seen something, I feel like that'd be like a whole nother experience to you, and you would talk about different. Which this is. This is something where they did give a little context, at least, that we figure out they both removed their pellets, because as far as we knew, it was just John and Kai. So they at least
so
explain
did
that a
Riz
little.
remove hers as well?
Yeah, I can't remember the dialogue exactly because I was focused on that animal thing too,
Yeah.
but she implied or said that she removed hers during that moment.
Okay. Yeah. So that's just happening while these civilians are trying to get evacuated. um, so then the soldiers are trying to explain like what will happen when the Covenant come, and this old lady is like, "Oh, Master Chief is also there.
Mm-hmm.
He got there.
Yeah.
He's kind of just standing there, and trying to explain like when the Covenant come, like you're all dead basically. Like that's what's gonna happen." And then she's just like that leaving their planets in time of trial is the same as leaving a child or parent. So she was like, "Nah, we ain't leaving."
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
This lady, I mean, that's kind of stupid though, because they're going to destroy the planet. It's not like they're just invading. It's just gone. So being like, "Nah, we ain't leaving." Okay, you're dead. Bye.
Yeah.
have a good life.
I feel like that's sadly probably true to life, though. I feel like, well, I was going to say, I feel like we would see that if that was actually happening, but I feel like you do see that in real instances, like Hurricane Katrina, where they're like, you got to get out of here. Everything's going to be underwater, and people are like, nope, I'm not leaving my house.
Yeah.
And then people are just underwater, and then they're like, why didn't you tell us? Why didn't you save us? So I feel like that happens in real life, too.
Yeah. And it seems like the civilians really hate the UNSC.
Yeah.
They just don't like them, which, I mean, there's some things we learn, and I kind of don't like them either. Which I don't know if that's a good thing because they're supposed to be like the, protagonist of this show. But some things they do, I'm like, y'all are sneaky.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like that also seems true to life. I feel like there's many people that, for some reason, hate the military. I get that you can hate certain aspects or tactics or things they do, but to hate the military as a whole seems like a weird thing.
Yeah.
Or to hate the people that are personally involved in the military, not like the leaders that are making decisions that are terrible or something. So I feel like that's true life. And also on that account, like you said, there's definitely, the military in real life isn't perfection either. Yeah. There is some real things or real shady things. You're like, what the hell? Why are you doing this? So yeah. It does seem true to life at least.
So yeah, I understand some things with the civilians, but then like also your planet's about to get destroyed, yeah. So I would try and leave.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And they're just all like hanging out and like, no, we're not leaving. Which I don't think it's everybody. It's just like this old lady and like her crew that are like, no, we're not leaving. But yeah, that was an interesting lady. I don't know how I feel about her either.
Yeah, she was a weird one. I feel like if you don't trust the military and you think that they're always saying bullshit, I feel like that might be part of it too. It's not. I feel like you might not even believe that that's about to happen. Which glassing, by the way, I don't think we talked about it. I know we did last time. Is literally a planet just evaporating or blowing up or being gone.
Like, it's just plasma to nothing, yeah. Pretty much.
Go ahead.
And it's not a fun experience.
It's fun to watch, but probably not fun for them to experience.
Yeah.
I did miss one line here when Sergeant Johnson looking dude jumped out of the warthog. He said, make a hole instead of clear away for some reason. And you might remember watching this as a group. Those kind of things just turn into running jokes. And there are a few of those moments in the show that happened, which I can talk about as we go.
Yeah. Okay, so the Covenant then arrive on Sanctuary. And I think Master Chief, he like scales a mountainside, and then the civilians start to evacuate. And I think Kai and Vanek are like watching Chief to make sure like he's good.
Yeah.
From a distance, and he gets to the top of the mountain, and Kai and Vanek can't see him anymore because there's like a ton of fog, like you can't see anything.
Yeah.
And there's just a bunch of empty warthogs on top, and Vanek tells Master Chief that he has 6 minutes until the Covenant arrive, and then these soldiers just start firing, and then they see that it's Master Chief, and he asks them if they are Team Bravo, which they are, and then they tell Chief that there's no comms, because I think he tries to communicate with Vanek and Kai again. There's no comms up there, and then something grabs one of them from the fog, and I was like, oh, here we go, this could be cool. And then they just start firing, and then like they each kind of just start getting picked off, and then we see an energy sword, and I was like, oh yeah, this is cool. And it's elites, and Chief just starts fighting them, and this scene was cool.
Oh yeah,
it's really cool. Chief like beats the crap out of the first one. I think he snaps one of their necks to another one. He picks up the shotgun from the one lady that was with him. I forgot to mention her. There was one soldier that was like left. She's kind of important later in the episode.
Yeah.
And then he like shoots another one, and I think he took out probably 6 of them. And
yeah.
Pretty easily too.
And real badass. Like they, I didn't see everything that happened, but I was bummed that they kind of advertised part of this scene, because it would have been cool to have this completely not knowing what was going on. I mean, you would imagine that something like that was going to happen, but just not knowing at all and seeing it happen. And it felt very like Predator or Alien, with you seeing them and then just seeing them get like whipped back and knowing something's there but not seeing it.
Yeah.
It was fucking cool.
It was so cool. It was, and I thought all the effects and stuff were really awesome. The elites looked perfect, like
Yeah.
spot on. And then I really liked, like Master Chief is like an elite trooper, like he's the best.
Yeah.
And I just liked seeing the comparison with just a normal human soldier who was freaking terrified and like cowering, and then Chief is just there beating the crap out of all of them.
Yeah.
And they show like the size difference too, because Master Chief is like probably like 6 foot something.
Yeah.
Just like this small like lady is the other soldier, and it was very clear that she was not going to kill any of these things.
I'm looking up how tall he is. I remember it's ridiculous. Height from reading the lore. Let's see. Yes, 7 feet tall.
Holy crap! And I
So-
don't think Pablo. What's his last name?
Schreiber.
I don't think he's that tall. I think he's like 6 foot something.
No, yeah, I feel like that's something that's just kind of hard to pull off, so you kind of have to mess with.
Unless you get Shaq.
Yeah. with some of this show's casting and ideas, that wouldn't be shocking if you pulled off the helmet and you saw Shaq. But let me look up Pablo Schreiber. Let's guess how tall he is. I haven't seen it yet. I'm still searching his
I'm
name.
gonna go 6'4".
I'm going to say, I haven't put it in, that's why I stopped. I'm going to say only 6'1". Oh, 6'5".
Ooh,
So,
we were both off.
that is pretty damn tall for a human, pretty close to 7 feet.
He's tall. Well, it showed in this scene that he was a very tall, large super soldier.
Yeah.
And the other soldier was a normal human being, and the elites are just as big as Master Chief also. And so he kills like 6 of them, and he's like calling out for Perez. It looks like she's dead. She's not. She's just laying on the ground. And she's still alive, and Chief looks up, and this elite just like one elite turns on their energy sword, and then a bunch of them do, and it was really cool.
Yeah.
I was like, this is awesome. And then a beam starts firing on the planet, so the glassing process is starting, and then the elites just kind of turn off their energy swords and dip.
Yeah. I feel like I know what you're about to say, so before we do that, I'd like to say a couple things about the scene. Like you said, that was some of the coolest shit we've seen, I think, in this show yet, and it was in the first 15 minutes of the show, or the first 15 minutes of the episode. Him battling the elites was fantastic. I think the elites are even taller than Master Chief. In the game, at least, they seem like they're like a foot taller than you.
Yeah.
Which I feel like adds to intimidation and shows how cool somebody like Master Chief is. They still taking down, well, let alone something from another planet, but these hulking beast.
Yeah. With energy swords.
They depend on the variation, but 7 feet 4 inches to 8 feet 6 inches. So, pretty crazy. And I thought it was badass. I thought seemed a little out of character, but still, I loved it. That last elite that was on the ground before all those started lighting up their swords, the one that was like looking up for just a little bit of savior and like a little bit of life, and you just shot him in the head and walked away. I was like, oh my god, that was highly unnecessary and not really like the games. But that the first episode of the first season wasn't much like the games were either, where they started murdering all those kids and everything. So.
Yeah, like straight off the bat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm okay with the brutality though.
Yeah, me too.
Like, go ahead, kill him. And like he snapped their neck too.
Yeah, and he stabbed one in the head and then pulled out the blade and he saw the blood come out, and yeah, it's good shit.
It was cool. It was great. When they do scenes like that, the show's 10 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
It's some of the other stuff is just like, okay, I'm a little done. But then other things are fine. But the action scenes, I think they nail them.
Yeah, I guess we can say overall how we feel at the end, and I'll kind of say how I feel about that, because I'm with you and I have thoughts about that.
Yeah. So the glassing process is starting, and the rest of Silver Team is getting on a ship, and they're about to leave, but they wait for John, and then we see like this was like everyone's panicking because the planet's getting destroyed. We see one of the lasers just destroy one of the evacuation ships, which was cool, and the weird old lady, I didn't get her name, so I just called her weird old lady in my notes. She's just
Mom.
staring into the distances, like just like, oh, we're about to die. That's cool. Like I'll just stay with my planet. Then this was a really weird part because John's making his way back to the ship. The old lady like basically stops him as like, your death comes soon. And then it was the intro.
Am I mistaken? Don't you see what appears to be the Blessed One?
Oh,
Isn't that?
I missed that scene.
Yeah, so I thought that's where you're going. I feel like the glassing was it, but I feel like the elites were also like listening to the command of her, and that's why they're all like, oh, okay, we don't get to face him. Which was sad because seeing all them wipe their swords, I was like, God, it's going to be badass. See how he kills all of them.
Yeah.
Probably a little unrealistic, but I want to see how they do it, and then just see them all leave. I was like, damn it. But yeah, then the intro, you're right.
Yeah, so he's basically told his death is going to happen soon, and intro. And this is like 15 minutes into the episode before we get the intro.
Yeah, it's actually almost exactly 15 minutes because I put that as a note because, like I said, I think aside from that little bit of weirdness at the beginning, not only did I think that first 15 minutes aside from that was awesome, but I think it might be the best Halo we've gotten yet in the show.
Yeah, I would say that in the finale of the season 1.
Yeah, I'd say that's that in the beginning of episode 1 of season 1 are the only thing I think compared to it. So maybe if I watch this fresh, maybe I feel different.
Yeah.
But as of now, that's what's in my mind.
It's just so weird that we can, well, not weird. It's sad that we can only pinpoint those 2 moments out of 9 episodes.
No, for sure.
10 episodes now of, oh, those were amazing. And then the rest is just, it's kind of there.
Yeah.
But after the intro, which I do like the intro, it's just the good Halo music that plays on the title screen.
Yeah, which is something they totally don't take advantage of throughout the show, which is fucking insane because Halo has some of the best music in game history.
Yeah,
and I think they use generic shit.
Yeah, and we talked about that during season 1 because we were like, the music should be like Star Wars level, and we're out here with just the intro, and that's it. That's the only thing they pull from the games. Especially
since there's so many people directly from 343 working with it, and Kiki Wolfkill, which is one of the main people at 343, is one of the executive producers and always on set and everything. I feel like that's the kind of thing that happens when somebody just buys a license or IP and doesn't have any actual involvement in it and doesn't care enough or doesn't have the rights to use that, but it's literally Microsoft, so it's a little ridiculous they're not using it.
Yeah, it seems like it's just a layup. Like that's so simple. Like the rest could be crap if you just have the music. It'd be cool. I mean, I don't want the rest to be crap, but like the music seems like a given. Like that's one thing you should get right. I was happy that his helmet was on the entire 15 minutes. Rest of the episode, I can't exactly. He's not in his helmet or suit at all. But that's okay.
Yeah, I was going to do a track like we did last time, how long until he puts it back on, but you can't see it in this episode, so he doesn't put it back on.
Yeah, it's his typical black spandex suit or whatever.
Yeah, the Commander Shepard Mass Effect looking outfit, which is weird.
Yep. So after the intro, we're back on Reach, and Master Chief is just in the shower, and hears a woman say, "Stay with me," and I think it's the Blessed One.
Yeah, I feel like they don't say it, but I feel like it's implied.
Yeah, so he's definitely seeing the Blessed One, which I understand.
Especially when you're naked.
Yeah, so he's seeing her and then we know, like last season, that there was some romance going on between Master Chief and the Blessed One, so he's still thinking about her. Did she not just get shot, though, in the finale?
She did, so that's one of the things that you'd think that would be answered. We'll see.
Yeah, like just straight up shot. Like there was no like, oh, she could have survived that. It was like, Kai just shot her.
Yeah. I was thankful that we got a shower scene and it was his torso, and I was like, we're not about to pan down right after this one of the best scenes in the show so far, and then the intro, are we? But thankfully they just stayed chest level.
Yep. So then they're like having a meeting, like a military debriefing. I think that's how I describe it, about what happened on Sanctuary. They kind of go over all the planets that have been glassed, which is significant amount. I think it was 3 or 4.
Mm-hmm.
Which is like 3 or 4, but that's millions of people or billions of people just dying on these planets. And then we get a new character, Mr. Ackerman,
Mm-hmm.
who is introduced as Dr. Halsey's replacement.
Did you think this actor looked like anybody else famous?
Yes, but I couldn't think of who.
I don't know if I should tell you because you'll probably agree and it'll make you hate it. Because I said it and somebody that here that doesn't even watch football was like, oh my, I knew he reminded me of somebody. I thought he looked identical in certain shots, identical to Tom Brady.
Oh,
and
man.
I was like, yeah.
Hold on, I gotta look at this guy.
Even during video, there's like certain scenes where I'm like, oh, maybe he doesn't. And then other shots, I'm like, oh my God, it's identical. So I don't know how much picture will show through.
I didn't hate his character.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the acting was good.
Yeah. No, yeah, that's just me being biased with the looks. But
Oh,
yeah, he
he's
was
a
fine.
character from the books, I think. Yeah, he's from the books,
Okay.
which is kind of cool.
That name does sound familiar. Do you know what book? You don't have to look it up if it doesn't say. I was wondering if I've listened to it.
No, it doesn't say, but it says he is a rival with Dr. Halsey.
That name sounded familiar.
So that's interesting. I did not know that until I just Googled that. Joseph Morgan is the actor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like a younger version of Tom Brady, just a little bit. I think it's the facial structure.
Yeah, I think it's like the exaggerated cheekbones and yeah, something there.
Yeah. So he gets introduced. He's definitely sneaky and plotting something, which we'll talk about, I think, more in episode 2 than this one. But I think this conversation continues, and Vanek is like telling Ackerman that they need actual combat missions. And then Ackerson just knows who they all are. Like, he just says all their names. And then I might be skipping something, but they just get like a 10-hour leave from Keyes. But I might skip something in that conversation. I did skip something in the conversation, but
I didn't have anything there, so if you did, it wasn't too important.
I don't think it was. I just know he introduces himself to Master Chief also, and like is like, it's an honor to meet you. But nothing big. They're just kind of introducing this character as Dr. Halsey's replacement, which I was trying to remember what happened to Halsey in season 1, and I know she like left, but the details I could not remember.
She did the clone of her, and I can't remember if they figure out about the clone or not. So I don't know if the clone is the one that you see later on, or if we're seeing the real one of her. I can't remember what happened to the clone exactly.
Yeah.
But so I don't know if the one that we see later on is the real her or not.
Yeah, I almost need to like rewatch season 1 again, or like watch like a highlight video, and just so that I remember everything. Because I remember a lot of the like Master Chief plotline, but there was those tiny plot lines just throughout the entire season that it's hard to keep track of everything. But after this scene, we're back on our favorite pirate planet, Rubble. And I don't even know what was happening in the scene. It was like this lady in the middle of the room, and I'm assuming refugees that she was talking to.
Is this like the wrestling looking scene? Is that what you're...
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that scene. It was like a wrestling ring.
Yeah, that's what it appeared like to me. And before we continue, it is Ackerson. I know a couple times you said Ackerman. And switched to Ackerson. I just wanted to... Because I thought it was Ackerson, then you switched to that, so maybe it could have also been a typo somewhere.
I definitely it was just a typo. Because I have Ackerson in every other sentence except one.
I got you. You switched to Ackerson anyway, so I just wanted to... Because I know we do that where we start saying the wrong one, then we just get stuck on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was one of those scenes where it just makes it feel like, what are we doing here? And you could have stayed on track, and this could have been so much better, and then you just take these wild detours that, like, what is happening?
Yep. And one of the guys that's like, so they're like in a line, and this lady's like talking to them, and he's like, I have information on a bounty for Catherine Halsey. And he's like, I'll give you info if he can walk around free. I don't know. I think Soren was there too.
Yeah, he was like in the audience.
Yeah.
And the dude you're talking about, it's like a reddish afro hair dude, right?
Yeah.
Or afro head dude. This dude seems so out of place as well. He seems straight out of Lord of the Rings. I was like, what is this? Why is this guy here? You can find so many generic military-looking or citizen-looking people, and then you pick this guy to fit perfectly in fucking Hobbit. So what is going on here?
Yeah. And Rubble is just a weird place anyway with all of that going. Like, it's such a weird, like, is Rubble in Halo, or is it just made up for the show?
I think we looked that up, and that's also from lore, but let me look it up. While we're doing that, Soren, does he look like anybody to you? Somebody did the opposite to me. They said it, and now I can't unsee it.
No.
He looks like he'd be not identical, but he looks like he'd be Dave Chappelle's brother. And I'm like, damn. I know a lot of people hate him. I like him, so that's not even ruining it for that. It's just he's known for being a comedian and ridiculous. So seeing that in this show, I'm like, it already has moments where are ridiculous. It's just a little too much for me.
Yeah. I like Soren as well.
Yeah.
He was the only highlight of like the Quan Ha plot line is when he was there.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, this is from one of the books that I've listened to. That's why I thought that. This is from... trying to remember the name of this one. Of course, I don't put it here. Trying to get it. Don't you worry. It's kind of the same idea in the book, though, of Rubble.
Just like a pirate, like, outpost thing.
Yeah, it's a settlement. Cole Protocol. I was trying to remember the name. That's the book it's from.
Okay. So at least they did. I mean, they pulled it from a book. I just think it's such a weird, like, environment.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard for me to picture. That's one of my issues with books, or even listening to them. It's hard to picture a world in my head when I listen or read.
Yeah.
But even with being hard, I don't think this is what the book was doing.
Okay, so that scene, I'm not really going to talk about a lot more. I think it was just what it was.
Mm-hmm.
And so the next scene, John, he's going to talk to Ackerson. And we learned that Ackerson has been in combat before, and Chief thinks that's a good thing, so he can, like, relate to, like, missions. And Chief is telling him that he thinks this Covenant were training for something on Covenant, or not Covenant, on Sanctuary.
Mm-hmm.
So they're training for something, which makes sense, because once the glassing started, they just left.
Yeah.
Like, it was like they didn't care. So, makes sense. And we know that on Reach they have the Halo artifacts, so they're getting closer to Reach and wanting to glass it, but they're not just going to glass the artifacts, so they need to train to go steal them, which I'm hoping we get the Fall of Reach storyline, but that's what they were hinting at. So they're training for something, and Ackerson just kind of ignores it. He's like, are you seeing any hallucinations or feeling confused? Like, just totally just dodges it. It's like, I don't care about the Covenant. Are you feeling confused or hallucinating? And then he asks him, like, about Cortana, and he's questioning John's reliability.
Mm-hmm.
And if I were John, I'd be pretty upset. Because he definitely... And he wasn't the only one either, and I think in this conversation he's like, ask Perez, like, she was there too. Like, ask her what she saw. So Ackerson's just like, nah, you're crazy, basically.
Yeah.
Which is pretty stupid. And
no, for sure.
Like, your commanding officer is like, I don't trust you. You didn't see nothing. And John was clearly, like, annoyed.
Yeah. Understandably, as you said.
And he's like the best soldier the humans have, and they're just like, you're crazy. You're hallucinating.
It's kind of like the creators of the show sometimes. He's the best thing they got, and they're like, yeah, but what if we took his helmet off and took his outfit off and just had him walk around?
Yeah. And then with Cortana, we saw, I I don't remember. I think in this scene is where Ackerson says we removed Cortana. It might be a
Think
little bit
so.
later, but Cortana took over Master Chief at the end of last season,
Mm-hmm.
and now they're completely separated because Cortana's just
Mm-hmm.
gone
Yeah.
for now. But yeah, and we'll talk about Cortana next episode because good grief, that was they did some interesting things with Cortana.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you got anything to say about that scene?
No, it's nice to them give a little context again instead of just complete wildness like a lot of the show has. At least, like, okay, so that happened. Now it explains a little bit of some of the stuff that's not really making sense.
Yeah. And I don't know if they say in this scene either, but it's been 6 months since I don't remember what planet they were fighting on in the finale, but since that finale happened, it's been 6 months.
Did they say it out loud in the show? I know that's what it's supposed to be, but
I thought they did, but I also read some stuff because I
yeah,
was a little confused.
because I feel like that should have not even just been like a part you maybe hear in an episode. I feel like that should have been like in the intro to the episode,
Like 6 months from this event.
Yeah.
Because it was really confusing because I was expecting like them to just pick up.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, they were just like, no, here's John on a table. Here's Master Chief on this planet. Like, it was just so, like, jumpy.
I think that's maybe I just put together in my head. Again, the show doesn't explain it well, but maybe that's what that scene is them taking Cortana out.
Yeah.
Maybe that beginning scene.
Oh, that's fair.
That could be.
That might have been what it was.
Yeah. But again,
they
the show
didn't
doesn't
explain that.
Yeah, it doesn't do a great job of that.
He was just on the table. Like, I was assuming he was just dying. Like,
I think they do say that we're losing him or something, but that's probably part of like removing her is the threat of maybe him dying.
yeah.
That's just kind of a guess, though.
So, I mean, maybe they'll come back to that later in the season,
Mhm.
hopefully, instead of us just having to guess.
Yeah.
Because we're just kind of filling in the plot.
Oh, yeah, it could be totally wrong. Like I said, that could be something in the future. It could be something that just had no connection, like some of the stuff in the show, and they just don't go back to it.
Yeah.
It could be anything.
Just briefly touch on it and
Yeah.
then never mention it again. So the next scene, we get Soren and his wife having an argument about Soren not seeing the world as it really is. And then she kind of just tell him that she wants to leave. She's like, I want to leave. And Soren's like, we don't run. And that's pretty much that conversation. I mean, there was more in it, but
Yeah, I don't think anything substantial, though.
yeah, Soren and his wife are having beef, pretty much, is what's going on.
Yeah.
She's not exactly happy with him.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's pretty much it for that. The next scene, the Silver Team's watching the news
Mm-hmm.
about the recent attack on Sanctuary. Perez is given a medal, and then Ackerson lies about where Master Chief and Silver Team are. And which is, it seems like the military likes to lie in this show. Like, they just lie to everybody. They lie to their best soldiers, they lie to civilians, and they just continue to lie.
Yeah. Which is at least partly true to life. Like you said, that's why there is definitely some negative aspects of the real military.
Yeah.
Which I was going to say is weird because they usually lie to citizens, but a lot of people in the military say that they're definitely lied to as well. So I guess that is kind of all around accurate.
Yeah.
Which is messed up.
So that's pretty much what happens in that scene. Obviously, the Silver Team is like, or John especially is like, that's not what happened though. Like, I was there. That's not what happened. And then I think it's Cobalt Team gets a mission over Silver Team.
I think that's what they're called. Yeah, they seem very generic.
Yeah, like they were just kind of there. And I think in the books there's another Spartan team. I don't remember what they're called, but
It's been a while since I read that one, but yeah, there is.
yeah, the Fall of Reach book,
Mhm.
which is a good book if you want to like get more details on the Fall of Reach. It's really good. And I think the first game is the Fall of Reach, right?
Story-wise, it is. It's technically the 5th game, but yeah, as far as story, it'd be the first.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, Halo Reach is the Fall of Reach.
Yeah.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And then Halo 1 is the aftermath of the Fall of Reach?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So play Halo Reach, basically.
Yeah.
Which is a great game.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Same with that, and what I think this show, I feel like by season or episode 2, you see that pretty clearly. It seems like they're doing Fall of Reach, but I feel like it's going to be different than the book, but that's not even just how the show normally is different. The game has a different story in the book as well. They all handle Reach a little different, the Fall of Reach a little differently.
Yeah, and then in Halo Reach, like Master Chief he's not a main character in that game.
No, he's only, he is as far as a story, but you only see him once, and it's an Easter egg if you even see him.
Yeah, so they're probably going to take him and put him at the forefront of the Fall of Reach, is what I'm assuming is going to happen, which I'm okay with. I'm okay with them doing something like that. So Cobalt team gets a mission over Silver team, and Master Chief is not happy about it. He's pretty mad, or he's super mad. I don't know if he's mad about that, but he's mad.
Yeah.
He's an angry guy right now.
I feel like that's at least be part of it to get this shitty ragtag team to take over for you. I mean, they're not. I'm sure they're high up, but what seems like a knockoff version.
It's like you have Master Chief, and you're just like, no, we're going to use these guys instead. Like, what are you doing? Because they're also like no combat missions for the the Silver team, which is the best team they have, and they're just like no combat missions.
Yeah.
And it's obviously making them upset because they could definitely help out a little bit more if they were given combat missions.
Look, let me know before you move out of the scene. There's a couple things I want to talk about, but I don't want to jump in if you're still going.
The next scene I didn't put too much for that. I just basically noted that Master Chief was upset.
Okay. Well, then I'll talk about a few things here. We did get to see Kai in a sports brawl and little shorts. Beautiful scene.
Yeah.
Could use more of that, especially the booty shorts. She's got it going on. But more importantly here, I got a couple of great quotes, as in terrible dialogue. One of the generic people from the other squad says, "I heard they brought home a bunch of empty coffins." And Riz very aggressively and cornily says, "Yeah, put you in one, bitch," and gets in his face.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck? That was so terrible. and then he says, in response to that, the generic dude says, oh no, it's later on. He says, "They insist on the most attractive team, so sorry, Riz." And then she says, "Suck big ass, Kareem." Which is still horrible, but I had to turn on closed captioning to figure out she wasn't saying "suck big ass cream," because I didn't know his name was Kareem, and I don't know if we did at that point.
No, we didn't.
And the way she says it definitely just says, like, she says "suck big ass cream," which is even worse. But both those lines are terrible. And then he says in response, "Is Vanek still writing your material?" And then Vanek says, "Boy, I'm about to wear you like a sock."
Yeah.
And I don't think any of these are instances of what I was talking about where they're essentially, even though they're very intelligent, they're like kids in their minds.
Yeah.
Or in their heart, maybe, I guess, because they are intelligent. I think this was just bad writing. I feel like these were like in their heads, you're like, damn, these are about to be fucking good comebacks.
Like, yeah, these are great.
Yeah.
Like, they're roasting each other. I just didn't list that at all because I was like, this is awful. But I'm glad that you did because it's a good example of the writing. It's just sometimes like, what the heck are you doing?
Yeah.
The "wear you like a sock" line, I definitely laughed, though, because it was so stupid. I think I laughed during that entire scene.
Yeah, we were losing it.
Yeah. I also don't know if I like Riz and Vanek that much. Vanek I like a little bit more. Riz is just kind of there.
Yeah, I think I like Vanek. Riz, for one, I think Riz is a fucking terrible name. And I don't like her character. And the more she talks, the more she says, "Suck big ass cream," or "Suck big ass cream." The less I like her. Or, yeah, put you in one, bitch. I was like, oh my God, what are you doing?
Yeah, so Riz is my least favorite Spartan.
Yeah, I'm with you.
And
You guys can let us know in the comment who's your least favorite and who's your favorite. You expect it to be John, but maybe somebody will have somebody different answer.
Maybe Kai's your favorite.
Yeah.
Because Kai's cool.
Or maybe Riz is your favorite. Trevor, probably you. I think she's cool.
There's nothing wrong with her.
I always say suck big ass cream.
And then Vanek's kind of there for me. So it's probably good Riz, Vanek, Kai, Master Chief. Then sometimes John does stuff, and I'm like, what the hell? It's also weird thinking. Like, I think of him more as John than Master Chief, which I feel like is because how the show writes
definitely.
it. Just such a typical name. Just, what's up, John?
Yeah, that was that's part of the story because they are supposed to be like reprogrammed and generic, but that's why the games don't usually call him John, and that's kind of just like a backstory point.
Yeah, it's just Chief. Should just be Master Chief. So yeah, that scene happened, and so I think Cobalt team leaves, or they're getting ready to leave, and then Master Chief is mad at Ackerson and kind of confronts him about it. And then basically the end result of the conversation is Ackerson is not going to send them into combat because he doesn't trust them.
Yep.
Which he has no reason to mistrust them.
Unless he heard Riz's dialogue and he's like, yeah, this team's not cut out.
Yeah, he's like, okay, you're going to wear the Covenant like a sock. I don't have anything else from that scene, really. Just the gist of it is he doesn't trust Silver Team.
Yeah.
So then Soren, we're back to Soren. So it's kind of like a flip-flop between Soren and this other thing going on. So Soren's suiting up and is talking with his son because his son is scared of monsters, and this scene was so stupid to me. I kind of understand it, but Soren's also kind of an awful parent because he's just like, there's no such thing as monsters. And that was pretty much it. Like, most of the time, like, it's normal for a kid to be scared of monsters or whatever, under their bed, whatever. And in this case, in this world, there actually are, though. The Covenant would be the monsters, you would think. And Soren's just like, there's no monsters.
Yeah, I was thinking that as you said it too, but I guess, yeah, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know how it handled. Maybe it's something you talk once they're like a teenager or something, because I feel like in the real world, our real world too, there's pedophiles and creeps and serial killers, but I feel like you wouldn't tell a kid that, even though, and maybe I get, you might be saying that can happen, but that's like, hopefully slim to none, and Covenant is like a common thing. But I feel like still, that's usually what parents do with kids, even if it's not the true answer. They just give them what they want to hear.
Yeah. I feel like the way he delivered it, too, was harsh, though. Like, it wasn't like a comforting, like,
no, I'm with you on that.
I'm your father. It was like, you're not scared. Stop bothering me.
Yeah.
Like, it was that type of tone.
Here's a part of the show where the show didn't do anything necessarily wrong, like the terrible dialogue or the make a hole, which that isn't inherently wrong, but I think that is a weird phrase to say, make a way or move, clear a path or something that militaries probably use all the time, not make a hole. But here's a moment where I definitely not ruined it. Like I said, I think this makes the shows more fun when you're watching as a group. But I made my own dialogue about how the way Soren was talking to him. I was like, he's definitely part of Jeffrey Epstein's island. And then I can't remember what it was. I feel like you were here one of the times where everything they said after one of the jokes we made fed into the joke. I can't remember what it was. Do you remember something like that happening with Halo? Can't remember what it'd be, but like for instance, we said something about like a dick, and then like the next 10 things they said could have lined up with that.
Up with it.
And that's exactly what happened here. I can't remember the dialogue exactly because I didn't want to fill up a half hour talking about pedophiles. I think it was probably a good idea on a podcast. But everything they said just led into, and we were just all losing it. And then it would be like, stop for a second, and it would cut to something else. And then they said something that made it like 10 times worse. And I was like, oh my God. If you rewatch like this from this scene to like 10 minutes and have that in context, it ruins it. Well, it doesn't ruin it to me. Like I said, I think that's funny. And then it's not like the show did anything wrong. That's just our ridiculous humor minds.
Yeah. And this show is perfect for group watching because of that. Because there's so many moments like that. I definitely remember moments like that where we were just all laughing, and it could be like a really serious scene, but it's just something ridiculous someone said, and then we're just all dying of laughter. Yeah, I could definitely see that happening with that too.
Yeah, I didn't mean to sidetrack you, but I give you a little taste of if you don't watch the show with us weekly, what you get sidetracking.
Yeah, you gotta join. And I gotta join too, because I didn't get to and I won't for the next 2 weeks, which is sad.
Yeah,
gotta watch it solo.
Especially because there's only, I think, 8 episodes and
9, I think.
But, oh, is it 9?
Yeah, but only 7 left. It's already sad.
I know. Yeah.
Mourning Halo going away.
Yeah.
So yeah, this monster scene happens. And then Soren, we learn the red-haired guy's name. Felix is his name. And Soren basically just tells him, like, yeah, I'll take you home. Like, I'm not going to let you live here, because I think that's what Felix wanted, was to live on rubble. And then Felix is like, well, I know where Halsey is. And that's kind of a little plot line that we're starting, is Soren trying to find Halsey, because there's definitely some beef between Soren and Halsey, because he was a former Spartan and he doesn't like her very much.
Yeah, I feel like that was kind of a whole episode plot point in season 1, because you talked about how he's brought up, and I mean they're all brought up like that, but a lot of them just don't care, don't recognize it, and he's like one of the ones that takes it to heart.
Yeah, and he recognized it first because he left before all the other Spartans. We kind of we get like John and Soren's backstory in an episode. I think when they're like younger.
Yeah.
And Soren is trying to leave, I think, is remembering that scene. So basically Soren's gonna try and get Halsey and probably cash in on the bounty. So John in this next scene is kind of just walking around the city. And I don't remember this lady's name. Do you know the former admiral?
No.
I remember her being in the episodes quite a bit, but I don't remember her name at all.
Paragoski.
Yeah, there we go. That's her name.
I knew it would come to me.
And I also didn't remember her getting like demoted or whatever's going on here. It probably did happen, I'm assuming, unless it happened off screen.
I didn't remember until I saw her, and I think it did, but I might be making up a storyline in my head that, like you said, happened in between that gap, but I feel like I do remember that.
Yeah, so basically she's telling John that he needs to be more careful, and John is like telling her basically what happened on Sanctuary and how it got glassed, and they're not believing him as far as what the Covenant were doing on the planet, and she basically tells John, like, bring me evidence about like what the Covenant are doing and I'll help you, basically. Which thankfully someone wants to help him. Like, good grief.
Yeah.
Because even Keyes, he's not helping. He doesn't care. Ackerson's like, you're delusional. And I think even Kai is questioning Master Chief quite a bit, especially when we get to the second episode. She's questioning if he's actually sane.
Yeah.
But I think there's a point where she does defend him as far as his sanity also, but she's kind of skeptical. You can tell by how she like looks at him, and like when he says something, she's like what do you mean?
Yeah.
Like, she wants more details. And then we jump back to Soren again. And he's in his ship, and I guess they find like it's just an abandoned ship in the middle of space.
Yeah.
And they're about to dock it, and then Soren and Felix board the ship, and they start looking around, and they kind of just make small talk. Like, I didn't actually put what they talked about, but it was just
nonsense.
It was just random conversation, and then there wasn't a lot of time in between this, but then Soren finds out that Felix is working for someone, and then a bunch of other guys in these suits just pop out, and they arrest him, they detain him and arrest him, and that's kind of that scene.
Yeah, it kind of just happened. All right, well, guess we're going to get more of this guy that doesn't fit into this world at all.
Yeah. So then John is then in this room that has an AI, and um, he's telling the AI that a part of him is missing,
Mm-hmm.
and the AI is like, "I want to be here for you," and he's getting like flashbacks from Sanctuary, and then he kind of just leaves the room. But this whole scene with the AI was really weird.
It was. I wonder if this one was one of the actual intentional ones, because I feel like they're implying that this is like a futuristic strip club. Like you go in there and they do whatever you want.
That's what I was thinking too.
Yeah, but I think he's so broken and not human that he just went there to talk to somebody, which I hear people do that at real strip clubs, which is weird to think about.
Yeah.
But and that sounded like cover up for me. I would say if it was me, it's not me. But yeah, I feel like that's what was happening because he's like, no, I just want to talk, and I feel like he didn't process it that that's not what it was, and then that's why he left. It was weird, but I'm wondering if that was one was
Yeah, maybe he
intentional.
just didn't know and was like, I'm just going to go talk to someone.
Yeah, trying to find Cortana maybe or relive it.
I mean, I thought the AI kind of looked like Cortana a little bit. So, I mean, obviously, Cortana was inside of his head. So that's the part he's missing that he's talking about. And at first he hated Cortana in season 1, but I think towards the end he started like actually liking Cortana.
Yeah.
And now Cortana's just not in his head at all. So kind of make it, that might also be why he went there. He just wanted to talk to an AI to remind him of Cortana. So it was a weird scene, but I understand why they did it. It could have been executed maybe a little better, but
yeah, no, I agree.
Not a bad scene. There's an ending scene, but in my notes I didn't actually say what it was. I said ask Casey about it.
I feel like I know which ending scene you're talking about. I think the more important one, the cool part, but I think this is not what you're asking about, is like you see the clouds and then the Covenant Armada coming up through it and all the phantoms and everything, and you're like, oh shit, it's about to go down.
Yeah.
And then I can't remember. I think that might be the last scene. I can't remember which comes first, but I think it's that, and then the scene that you're probably talking about is Quan Ha in the cave.
Okay, yeah. So I have cool shots with the elites, and then Quan Ha returns.
Yeah, which I was saying this whole episode, I was like, I'm not going to jinx it. There's just something I hope doesn't happen. I wasn't even saying it. And then I was like, oh my God, they fucking wait till the end. Like, people were waiting to see this. It's like they're fucking with us. People didn't want this to happen. It's not like, oh, there she is. It's like, oh, there she is.
Yeah, I was disappointed.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, maybe they'll just forget about her like we forgot about 6 months. Maybe we can just forget about Quan Ha. And I think her hair is different.
Yeah, everybody's missing the mullet here. I don't think they were sincerely, but they're saying they were.
Yeah, so Quan Ha's back.
Unfortunately, she is. I will say I don't like when I've talked about in the games where people didn't like the Prometheans, and then I feel like it was kind of a coward way out to just get rid of them instead of address it story-wise. Mm-hmm. So I could at least give them credit that they didn't just abandon it, and even though I would have personally been okay with it, to be fair and not hypocritical, I feel like it would be kind of weird to just abandon something that you obviously believed in just because people reacted.
Yeah.
But I feel like you could have done something in between and be like, oh, here we had 6 months. Here's one episode if you really want to dedicate to her where she fought her way till she died, or you could explain in conversation that she passed away or something happened.
Yeah.
And just fucking offed her. And because this story already takes way too many branching paths that it doesn't need. And could be a much better show without it.
Yeah, it's just such a pointless plot line. Like, I don't see how it connects to Master Chief at all. Like, it's like they just threw it in there to do it.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like I don't see these plot lines connecting at all. So like if they were going to connect like at some point, then I think it would make more sense. But it doesn't even look like they're connecting anymore.
Yeah.
Like in the first season, they did a little bit. With like the beginning and her being like a survivor of the first attack, and then Master Chief kind of just taking her to Soren and then just dumping her off. Now she's just here.
Yeah. Is what you were going to ask, it might have been, it's funny, it might be what I was going to ask you. Was it the thing they kept showing in the cave? This like demonic looking face?
Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
I don't either.
And it seems to be a big deal because, spoiler alerts, they talk about it in the next episode too.
Yeah.
But I was like, I don't know what this is. I don't know what they're implying with this, and it better not be something that they keep doing and not explained or just abandoned.
Yeah.
Because they're making a big point out of this symbol thing on the cave.
It's just such a weird scene.
Yeah.
Everything with Quan Ha is weird typically.
Yeah.
Like we had the whole I think it was Venture, that guy.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was his name. The weird guy from last season that was just shooting people in the head, and the bad guy for Quan Ha.
Yeah, I was trying to remember his name. I know who you're talking about.
It was a weird name.
Yeah. Let me see. My mind keeps going Vanek, but I know that's not it. I know why it's going there.
I thought it was Venture, but I could be wrong.
It was, yep, you're right. Venture.
Yeah,
I don't know why it didn't sound right to me. That's weird. Well, should we get into overall thoughts on the show then? Or like the episode, I should say.
Yeah, get into our Ha rankings.
That's right.
The best part of the show. You guys can also give your Ha rankings below in the comments.
From 1 to 20, or 1 to 10, but 20 if you use a point scale, like 1.8 or whatever it'd be. And I'm not going to give it 1.8, by the way. It wasn't a spoiler. It'd be a bit harsh. I'll go first this time. I feel like you usually do. In the next episode, you can go first.
Sounds good.
Because I want to, like I said, I'm going to kind of do an overarching thing too. If you remember last time we did season 1, like I said, I tried to review it based off the show they're going for, like the show that they're intending to make, because I think if I judge it off the show I want, I feel like I would rate it way, way lower, because I wouldn't keep his helmet off all this time and do all these weird decisions they make. But at the same time, just because I'm judging that way, they still had to make a quality show for what they're trying for.
Yeah.
So, that's how I approach it. I think, thought it might have been a spider. I was like, well, this show might be over. It's just like a dust ball. I saw it slowly coming down the corner of my eye. I was like, oh, God.
Yeah, we would just kill that spider really fast.
Yeah, so I was trying to ignore it so I didn't interrupt the show, but I was like, I just keep seeing it keeps getting falling down. But I will say, as a whole, obviously we're only 2 episodes in, so things could drastically change. But as a whole, I think there's a lot of improvements in the show. I think the visual effects seem to take a huge step up, even though we haven't seen a lot of it. It seems drastically improved. Even the scenes we loved, we talked about how that was a kind of a low point sometimes. It seemed to get better as the series went on for some reason. But I feel like that first scene looked better than anything I can really remember in the first season.
Yeah, for
Even
sure.
if there is stuff that's more entertaining or whatever, I think this was the best looking one. I don't know how much we talked about it in the first season, but they absolutely nailed the way the Master Chief looks. They nail how the Covenant looks.
Yeah.
The weapons are fucking 1-to-1. Yeah, it's awesome. It's just all those weird decisions they make in between. But like I said, judging for the show it is, I think they took a lot of step-ups in that. It's like they're going out of their way to mock you with the helmet taking off. We're like, we hear you. We're going to do it even more.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you saw before this season came out, Pablo Schreiber did an interview where he said that he was fully against the sex scene and he didn't think it fit into Halo, which objectively I agree. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think that needed to be there. I think it was weird. Personally, I'm like, well, at least we got something good out of that watching it. There was nothing good out of seeing your helmet off over and over. I don't think that needs to happen. I don't think it needs to happen at all, but if you want to show his face, show it here and there, or a scene where it makes sense, like where you're back at the briefing area or at all these posts that they always go to. But they just go so far out of their way to only be at these posts. And I think that's my biggest issue, is that I feel like the acting is improved. A lot of the same actors are there, but a lot of supporting cast and people that are new, I feel like are much better actors. The writing seems better, aside from some cringy moments we talked about. But I think as a whole, it seems much better.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of improvements, but there just seems to be a constant thread of what is going on here and why are you wasting so much time. So even though I think all this downtime where there's not much happening and there's just talking and all these different moments, I think those are much more bearable because they're better acted and better written. I don't think that just automatically makes her a great show. I don't think that's what the show is supposed to be, even not from my look, but even from the way they advertise it and promote it, like the way the show starts, the episode ending like this, and then we'll talk next episode about how what happens there. I know it's a TV show, part of that they do that intentionally, so you keep coming back, but you also have to deliver on that eventually, not just the last episode of the season again.
Yeah.
Has to give you more moments than that. There is one really random thing that I didn't put a note that I meant to. Our friend Dave pointed out during the episode, during one of these briefings, it was when they were talking about that they're mad they replaced Silver Team. He pointed out that there was a guy hand changing the names for the assignments. This future. I don't know. They just told me to put your name up here. I didn't even think about it until he said it. I was like, yeah, what the fuck?
Wasn't that that was next episode?
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
I'm mixing my episode. Maybe I have the note then.
I have a note on that.
Okay.
So we'll talk about that.
Spoilers.
Next episode.
Yeah, I thought I put a note. I was like, God, I guess I got to address it. Okay.
Yeah, because Chief yells at him quite a bit, and it's really funny.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I ruined that part then. But I do think there's a lot of improvements, but I do think there's an overarching issue with it. So
yeah,
I would say this is a 6.8 for me, which is hard because I think that 15 minutes is arguably with the side. We'll say not the first 3 minutes and the next 12 minutes, I think is arguably the best the show has been.
Yeah.
But then even though it's much more bearable, and I think higher quality after that, there wasn't really anything happening.
Yeah, I think that's where I'm at too. Because I love the action scenes, and when they it's so weird because even last season, it was like season 1 had that first 15 minutes and it was beautiful of episode 1, and then after that it was just a whole lot of dialogue, and it was like, okay, what's happening here? And that's pretty much how this season starts. It's the same thing. It was, those awesome 12 minutes, and then after that it was just kind of there were some important scenes because it is important to know that hey, they're not trusting Master Chief and his team, and something wrong is obviously happening if the Covenant are just mowing down planets, and what Master Chief saw was important, and they're just like, no, we don't care.
That's something I showed setting. I guess kind of glossed over. Just because it's not nonstop action, that doesn't mean that it's not important. I know it might seem like that the way I said it. I'm not even saying you're saying that. I should have made that clear, and I wouldn't even want nonstop action. That would get old.
Oh, yeah.
You do need storytelling. You do need it, but there's so much nonsense in between there. There should be that storytelling, and nothing has to be all nonstop action. But, yeah, it needs at least more of a balance. But continue. I just
the
really
stupid, wrestling match scenes and, things like that don't really matter. You could easily swap that with, anything, action scenes, or something go to the Covenant side of things, or just anything that I would care about. And then there's just these random scenes that are just so annoying.
Yeah.
But pretty close to you. I gave it 6.5 Haas.
Yeah, I didn't even say my Haas. I'm sorry. I said 6.8. I'm a failure.
So 6.8 Haas for you, 6.5 Haas. And basically just that first 12 minutes is 10 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
And then some dialogue is good, and then it's just stupid points that just knock it down a little bit. It's not the worst episode of the show. It's not a Quan Ha solo episode, which we'll probably unfortunately get at some point.
And probably not with her dying like I suggested, sadly.
Yeah, I think we've wanted her to die since she was the first episode of the series, and I just don't think we're gonna get that.
No, yeah, me either.
But yeah, I think 6.5 is where I'm gonna land for episode 1, which is, I think, season 1's first episode. I gave it a 9, so
that's what I did.
It's not the best start to the show, but there were some positive things, so I'll keep watching.
Yeah, I feel like part of that, and I think we might even said at the time, was the excitement. We might have been overrating it just from the excitement of how good those moments were and the fact that we were seeing Halo like this.
Yeah.
And I feel like the fact that we've seen that now, things need to drastically improve, and not just some better writing, some better acting, but overarching better, better show, I'd say.
Yeah.
And also to speak to the fact that I get it's not going to be nonstop action. That's very expensive, and I get that this is lower budget and lower tier compared to like top tier shows.
Yeah.
So I get why it's not like that, but you're Microsoft and Paramount. I think there's probably a middle ground where you can have action every episode at minimum.
Yeah, at minimum. And I mean, like, I don't think they're at full out war yet.
Mhm.
So, like, they're kind of, like, they're definitely not at peace with the Covenant, but they're kind of like, they don't really know how to approach them because they're clearly outmatched in every fight. And the only thing that, like, tips the scale is the Spartans.
Yeah.
I think the humans just don't know how to stop the just destroying the planets. Like, there's like, what do we do at this point?
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting.
I think that's one of the things that bummed me out the way the show started, not necessarily how it started, but the fact that it did start like that, because I feel like that's one of the things we were really promised about hopeful about. We weren't promised it. We were hopeful about the season finale. Is not just that it was so good, but it seemed like it started to understand the issues Halo had, and it just seemed like they just doubled down on the things that did wrong. Not everything, like I said, the writing, there's aspects that were improved, but the biggest issues, it seemed like they just doubled down on that, when I thought we were maybe going to get the opposite end, or maybe this was like the proving ground to turn into this season being the Halo from the games, directly, and that's not what this is at all.
No. I think we're, like, after episode 2, I think we're leaning towards more of like the full out war type thing, and then maybe we get the flood at some point and some of those things that happen. I don't think the flood come in till Halo 1 actually is when they come in, but as far as like after the fall of Reach, so we might not even get the flood till like season 3.
Yeah.
If we get them. They can just say the flood don't exist and Quan Ha is the bad guy.
Maybe she is the flood.
She turns into them.
She's a grave mine.
So I don't know. I'm excited though if they do the Fall of Reach plotline, which in episode 2 we can talk about that more, because I think they're definitely hinting at it, especially at the end.
No, I'm excited too, and even with all the negativities I have, I mean, I still rated it positively. Like I said, I know most people use their scales at anything that's not like an 8 is terrible, but that's not what a scale is supposed to be. 5 should be like okay, 6 is good, 7's really good or great. So I still think it's really good. Just a lot of issues, and I feel like it's more coming from a place of being such a Halo fan and knowing how good it can be and being bummed of what it is.
Yeah.
And being realistic as well, not going to the other end of the people that are just meme it to death and don't actually give it a chance or just judge it based off what other people think. I'm actually watching it, and there are really good aspects, but you have to be realistic about the parts that are failures or
not good.
Yeah, don't live up to it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm pretty critical as far as like rating things, so I think that a 6 is like, I enjoyed parts of it, but I had issues with things.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I rarely give out a 10. Like, it's just, I don't do that. So I just thought 6.5 fit the episode.
Yeah, I feel you. Anything else you want to say?
No, I think that's it.
All right. Well, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Let us know your HA ratings. And tomorrow will be episode number 2 for this.
Yeah.